Hello, welcome back to The Other Fellas. I'm Adam,
I'm Nicholas.
and today we are talking about Bond lifestyle moments. This is not a Bond lifestyle channel. There are plenty of awesome lifestyle channels on YouTube and on podcasts that you can find information about anything you want and reviews of every product you could ever think of. But today, Nicholas and I are going to talk about lifestyle moments from the movies that we really enjoy and that have kind of shaped a little bit of like our own personal style and maybe goals in our lives of like places we want to travel to and stuff. But yeah, we decided to do this subject a few days ago, and I just made my list. So I flipped
Yeah, it took a
through
while to
manically.
finalize this.
Huh?
It took a little bit to finalize this.
Yeah, I'm rapidly flipping through one of my Bond coffee table books, and the first things that I would see, or the first things that come to mind, I put on a list. So it's the first.
We did it.
Impulse.
We made it 5 episodes before we did a listicle one.
Yes.
We are invincible.
These top 5 Bond moments will change your life.
It is. Oh, if you want to send us stuff, sponsors, we will endorse you. We'll just shout you out.
Oh yeah,
we will. We're not those guys, but we will be those guys if you want to. But no, like Bond is inherently escapist, and like we talked to Daniel Craig and Pierce Brosnan. We love spycraft. We love the action, but you know, we also like the style. Like that's part of the fun of this. We wanted to watch action and spycraft. We watched the Bourne films.
Right. Part of the romance of watching Bond films is the locations and the outfits, and that goes for not just Bond, but all the characters are outfitted incredibly well. They're always wearing the finest everything, drinking and eating the best stuff, going to the coolest places. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about moments and things that really stand out to us.
So the one that I think is definitely above for our list, and actually prompted this idea, and I think you could speak to it more, but I think Casino Royale as a whole is just such a wonderful bit of who Bond is, how he dresses, how he sort of lives. But after he beats Le Chiffre at the table,
you're talking about
the dinner
with Woody Allen and David Niven, that Casino Royale, right?
Yes. Of course.
The most stylish Casino Royale they made.
Well, hey, now Barry Nelson could rock a tux.
Not a haircut, though.
But no, you know what I'm talking about. You know the scene. You know the dinner.
Oh yeah.
The meal that has never looked better.
That scene always makes me hungry. Like every single time, I'm just like, he's just like, I'm famished, and I'm like, now I am too. Like we all went on this like action-packed, stressful journey of getting poison and kicking all the dudes' asses on the stairwell. Yeah. And
you almost did an hour ago, I think is the line Vesper said.
Yeah, you almost died an hour ago. And then like she he found her in the tub. He drank. I remember in the theater, like we're not endorsing drinking or drugs or anything like that in this YouTube, because if it's then Daniel Craig drinks and drives a shitload in his movies. But I remember being in the theater when he chugs the bourbon in the bathroom. The whole theater was like, ooh. That's a lot, buddy.
Yeah, but like something about that dinner scene, because he's beat Le Chiffre, and he's sitting down. I want to say that he's still in the tux, like the bow tie's undone. Yeah, he's got like a steak. He's got the wine. And it's like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning at this.
Oh, I'm sure he forced that restaurant to open for him.
And they're having the fanciest, like it's not like a 10-course thing as far as we know, but they are just enjoying it. And it's so, he looks so satisfied. There's something about that just, like even if that whole movie is like Bond journey to being Bond, that scene was one of the quintessential Bond moments, I feel like.
Well, yeah, and also I think just like of the practical logistics of him, even in like the movie sense, that like when he throws the dealer probably like $100,000 as a tip. I can only imagine what he spent, because it doesn't matter to him. He won. The money isn't going to terrorism anymore. So How
He
much did
only
spend?
owes what, 10 million
How much did he
to the
spend on that?
government?
Yeah. How much did he spend on that meal? He's like, oh no, you're gonna open for me now, and you're gonna get your top chef, and that's happening because I'm gonna
Yeah.
spend $2 million on this meal.
I want the 50 free, Bordeaux,
Hmm.
whatever it is. I don't care how much it is. Yeah,
Exactly.
that might be my favorite, one of my favorite moments. But I think you're up. What strikes you?
Well, if we're gonna stay at a hotel, I have a lot of hotel moments on my list, but I
Kind of the
really
same.
like, and like we have a video of it. We talk about all the time. We talk about Die Another Day. I
Mhm.
really enjoy the hotel in Hong Kong,
That's also on
and
my list.
like I just, because you're with the journey of him being, as a prisoner in North Korea, the man hasn't had a decent shower in a year and a half. Like, just watching that scene is like so refreshing. And like, he's giving himself a shave and there's all like the fresh shirts. You just feel like, oh, I just got out of the shower too. This is wonderful.
Oh, and it's like the classic moment of the staff like, you can't get in here. We wouldn't serve a street rat, and the man's like, wait, no, this is Mr. Bond. Which
Oh yeah, and a
again,
perfect
spycraft
like.
stuff, but
I
it's just
think
such a
in the
great
post
moment.
Craig movies, everyone's kind of demanding that the series kind of become a little more lighthearted. I would like to see a hotel manager greet Bond. It's
Mhm.
like, oh
And
yes, your finest suites, the world's greatest spy.
and I think he just had an account going still, which is also great. Like he's missed
Oh
18
yeah,
months, but like
and send my
it's okay.
tailor. Send
Yeah.
my tailor
He has a
because
tailor in Hong Kong, which is just fantastic. And then of course,
um,
as he leaves, they got him a plane ticket.
yeah.
Like that was good service.
Um, Staying on hotels though, I realize I have 3 hotel moments.
I have a hotel moment too, and
Do
we
it.
actually have a bunch of overlap on this list, which is
Okay,
interesting. But
go
you,
for it.
please. Oh, me. Okay.
Yeah, you.
This might be one of my favorite lifestyle moments because it's a sort of a prolonged moment, but just it's so good. At this point, if you're watching a show, I'm unabashedly adore Our Majesty's Secret Service.
Mm.
Love it. And for me, the bit right after the credit scene where Bond is just in Portugal at the Palacio, he shows up, he gets his usual room, he's in the white suit, he knows the manager, he goes to the room, he sees the balcony, it's like, yes, this will do. This will do me nicely. And he's just nice to the staff, he's having a good time, and then it just transitions into the casino, and Bond walks in, tipping people, hanging out, looking sharp, like having a game with people and having a good time. Like Bond is just on sort of vacation, and it
Yeah.
feels like he is.
I mean, any place that has purple velvet walls is a place to have a vacation. Um, Her Majesty's Hotel is also on my list because of the full queen size, king size bed on the balcony.
Yeah.
Just for
I shared that
I'm
to some
like, I
friends recently.
want
It's like, why
that.
does he have 2 beds?
Why not?
Why not?
Because you saw the documentary. Lazenby was having 6, 7 girls a night making that movie.
There's a great behind the scenes photo of him, and I think he was with if he may have been with Daniel Craig or someone else, but he's just like sitting there in like just slacks, cigarette, brandy on that bed on the balcony, just living it up.
Yeah. Why
And
not?
he
I
really
mean,
went back there recently and like says it's unchanged. So it's like we got to go to that
really.
hotel.
Well, speaking
That place
of
looks awesome.
hotels that haven't changed but did change, but I keep looking at pictures of it because it's like my dream hotel. Like I want to stay there so bad. The Fontainebleau in Miami, from Goldfinger.
Mm-hmm.
Now Connery never set foot in that hotel. All of those scenes were filmed at Pinewood that have Connery
Even by the pool.
Even by the pool. Lighter is at the hotel, and then they cut to a rear projection of Lighter with the hotel in the background, all the people swimming. Sean Connery never set foot in there.
That is.
And when you go back and watch it, you think about it, you can't unsee it.
Oh, now I know what I'm doing next.
Yeah. But yeah, the Fontainebleau, I think, is only in a few shots, but it definitely in the establishing shot, obviously, because the helicopter, welcome to Miami Beach and all that. But yeah, ever since I was a little kid, like that was like the first hotel I researched of like, what is this location? I want to go there. So that is for lifestyle moment. That's like top.
Mhm.
M wouldn't have booked me in the best hotel at Miami Beach out of sheer gratitude.
Of course. Well, it's I'm some people love it. I don't like the terry cloth toweling romper. Not my thing.
Only Sean Connery can pull that one off.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't think I have any Connery on my list. Which
I
find
have a Roger. I don't have any. I have Connery, but I don't have any Roger Moore except for like an ironic one.
I have like one, but not so much because of him, but because of what they were doing. But
Roger's
Chris, we
hard
dive into that. I
because
think
Roger's hard because his era isn't like, I hate to say like attractive anymore. Like it's very of its
No.
time and didn't age very well. Like Connery stuff became timeless, and like because the 60s sort of that stuff's kind of stayed good. Like even
Yeah,
like in the 70s, like the big collars never really came back, and like bell bottoms never really came back. And
yeah, and it's so like I think about Connery. I think about lifestyle. There's so many great moments. But I don't think there's like a single like I want to be in that scene. Like I love Istanbul, and I think all the stuff of him hanging out in Istanbul is fantastic. Orient
mhm,
Express also, but I'm not seeing him sort of living it up away, lazy as in a casino, or Brosnan just lounging in that hotel. But if there's one more thing that I do love, because it actually looks a bit little timeless and it has that old world magic that I love so much in a Bond film.
mhm,
It's In For Your Eyes Only, and it's when he meets Melina. I want to say I believe it's Corfu. Yeah, it's Corfu.
mhm.
He meets her on the dock. He's dressed like in a nice blazer. Does collar's not too big. He looks a little, stately.
Yeah,
And they sort of walk through, and like we're eating figs. Someone hands him a fig, and more kind of he's like hating it, kind of loving it. But it's also just like Bond in a location, just sort of taking it in. Don't need to immediately get to the car fight or the car chase. It's just kind of, yeah, let's just walk around and explore, and let's try the local flavor. And when it's probably the one that I was struggling to include or not this one, but they don't really do that in Bond films anymore. And I love that sort of like maybe even Matera sequence in No Time to Die, kind of. But I just want
yeah.
to see Bond.
I want to see. I want to see the location. It's like it's really nothing more than showing you the location and showing you like, oh well, because I think at the time, people weren't as traveled, so this was really exotic. This was really cool. You know, um, you're gonna have long shots in casinos in Las Vegas and Diamonds Are Forever because Vegas has just become in the last 2 decades prior what Vegas is. Now people, it's harder to impress. So like, I feel bad for the Broccolis because like, what else are you gonna show that you can't go on YouTube and watch a travel video about? It's tough.
Yeah,
And like
it
I
really
on my
is.
list, I have Istanbul, and like I want to go there because of the Bond films. Like the Grand Bazaar in Skyfall, like that looks amazing. I want to go see that. And then Connery in From Russia with Love, like I just think it's a beautiful looking place, and I want to go to the canals. I want to do all that. I want to go to a gypsy knife fight. I'm just kidding.
I'm sure about travel booking somewhere, unfortunately.
You're right.
Um, yeah, Connery. I really was trying to find like a moment. I was like, it's Sean Connery. I gotta have something, but it was never quite a moment. It was like this guy's living the life. I mean, in a place that was cool. Like I said, definitely want to go. I just couldn't think of,
For
him.
me, for
Him.
Connery, like
Yeah,
style peak is Thunderball.
he does like Thunderball.
All
They
the
hang on no,
Thunderball
no
looks
flop,
are
but
A
that looks
plus.
good.
Yeah. And like if I'm gonna go on a tropical vacation, like I'm gonna borrow from the book of Connery Thunderball. Uh in fact I did for
He
my
pulled
last
off.
birthday, very Thunderball.
Yeah, he pulled off all the pink. He was swimming, having a good time,
Mhm.
wearing sunglasses.
And I
No,
mean
no,
there's the Goldfinger suit is called the Goldfinger suit for a reason. Like when you tell a tailor I want the Goldfinger suit, everyone
yeah.
wants that because houndstooth gray 3-piece always looks good, never not looked good.
Yeah. But there is one moment that is a definite on my list. I definitely had 4 definite ones, and this is the last one on mine. And maybe there's a bit of a immediacy bias or recency bias, but Bond in retirement in Jamaica in No Time to Die. We get to see him. He's got the boat. He's fishing. He's got the outdoor shower. His house looks impeccable. And it's not like, when we saw his apartment in Spectre, or we saw, his apartment in Live and Let Die, which is like, oh hey, look at this fancy espresso. It's just like it looks lived in. He's got the home bar, which looks incredible. You know, Blackwell rum. He's
Mhm.
got the books, but the sweet desk of like it just looks. If I could live somewhere, I would live there.
Oh yeah, and I appreciated. 'Cause I was watching a lot of the Bond lifestyle stuff when No Time to Die first started filming because they were showing the first anything of the new movie. Like, even though they're the clothes detectives, I'm just like, yeah, but like they're finally making the movie and we're finally seeing pictures. And he's wearing pretty normal like Tommy Bahama shirts and not what you would expect James Bond to be wearing, but I kind of dig that. And he's driving an old beat up Land Rover and just he has a little villa, keeps to himself. And yeah, watching those scenes, I was like, oh, this looks really relaxing. Like this is props to the people that put that together and like the director being like, what
Mhm.
would Bond realistically do?
Yeah,
And I
like
like and like even going back to Spectre, like I like how he's like James Bond apartment in that. It's like it represents a Bond that doesn't know what his purpose is, and the apartment reflects that.
and in No Time to Die, it's very much like he's been here for at least a couple months, if not for his whole 5 years. And it's like, where would he go? What would he do? And you just get the sense of like he's I don't know if he's happy. I don't know if we can ever call Bond happy, especially after everything happened in No Time to Die, but he looks content. He looks like he doesn't need anything. He gets up, he does what he does. He goes out, meets a girl, brings her back, downs like again, 5 drinks, drinks and drives. No Time to Die, Craig era. But I don't know. It just looked. I was like, yeah. Like every time they show that place, I was like, I could be there. I'll come out of a shower outside, brush my teeth, and do that stuff. I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
was a
I love
little
it so
worried
much.
when they were making it and they did like the press conference on Goldeneye, and I'm like, I really don't want Bond retired at Goldeneye. I think that'd be way too on the nose. Like
Would you want him
him
to read
at the
Birds for West
Fleming
Indies
desk.
by James Bond?
Yeah, it's just a
Die
little
another
too
day.
much. But I'm so glad they didn't do that. And like I love that. I think the Jamaica stuff is my favorite stuff in that movie, especially just showing the local color. Like they're in the nightclub, and uh there was a video that they put out. I think it was just to extinguish like the rumors that the filming was going poorly.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah.
put out like a little sizzle reel of just what they were doing in Jamaica. And another lifestyle thing, it opened me up to different stuff. It had a weird song on the soundtrack. And I'm like, what is this song? And then it put me
Hmm.
down this like Jamaican reggae train for a week of my Spotify. So it's like
Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff I like. That's like the Bond I want is like show
yeah.
me some cool shit I've never seen.
He's eating some
And
local food.
mhm,
It just all feels like the one thing that just feels out of place is when he drinks a scotch at that bar. I mean, it's a nightclub, they'll have scotch, but it's like,
yeah.
it's a one thing that doesn't feel like Bond living locally,
Yeah. I mean, he's not eating caviar, he's going out and catching his dinner.
which is great. It's
Yeah.
so good. So I mean, that's the end of my list. But I know you had a few more, I believe, right?
So mine are a little more jokey. Just because I love one is the bar and License to Kill, the dive bar.
Yes, the barrel head.
Just because and you get they it saves it later on because you get to the big fancy casino in Mexico City or Isla City. You get to all the fancy Bond tuxedo stuff, but just to have the dichotomy of the character in an American gross dingy bar and in a proper, let's say proper, but like cliche bar fight really made me
He tried to
happy.
kill someone with a swordfish.
Exactly. And like the go-go dancer is like still going while the fight is like it's just I like Bond being in, I don't want to say trashy situations, but very anti-James Bond situations where and just see how he reacts. And I like the fact that they included that. Not so much a lifestyle moment. But I
I
just
mean,
like the look.
I've always thought Bond, and it's something that they do when we do it right. It just feels natural. Bond should be the guy who leaves like the fancy party at like 2 a.m., wanders out to the streets where it's a little dingy, finds a bar, finds a beer, lives up. I mean, Quantum of Solace, which is sartorially the best Bond film in my opinion, you know, he one day prior, he's at Green's party. He's in a very nice brown suit. leaves, does a whole plane fight, blah blah blah, walks through a desert, nearly dies, hooray. Next thing, he's in jeans and a jacket at the poorest peasant bar in
Hmm.
in Bolivia, drinking a beer at Felix, and it just feels right.
Yeah,
Like
it
Bond
does.
should be able to do that.
And then the total opposite of a trashy American dive bar is the horse party in A View to a Kill. It's Zoran's estate. There's stables, like just top to bottom in terms of like the fancy, gross caviar, champagne. He's hitting on poor 20-year-old Tanya Roberts, but like I as something like you never get to see these sorts of things in real life. Like, what is this party where like everyone's dressed like Amadeus Mozart serving hors d'oeuvres at the party with Grace Jones, and all these weird oil tycoons are buying horses, and Bond has little X-ray ridiculous specs. I just thought that was neat, and for a lifestyle, it's like that's something none of us will ever do.
No, there's like, I mean, Zoran's new money, but is an old money thing. It's funny. I think the only time we ever see Bond in any sort of like morning suit or morning dress is a wedding in License to Kill.
Right.
But Roger Moore, he knows to look a bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, the tailoring in License to Kill is for the most part atrociously 80s and baggy and weirdly
Yeah,
American.
but at Zoran's party, like I'm a sucker for the white dinner jacket. Like, and that's the only time I think we get Roger in that.
No, we do. No, there's one moment. Moonraker. Not Moonraker, Octopussy. He wears both a black and a
Oh
white.
yeah, Octopussy he does. Yes. Octopussy has of course, the rickshaw chase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
My
you're
bad.
in India, you want to wear something a bit cooler, and I guess the white jacket makes sense. But
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
a sucker for the white
in
jacket.
terms of
That's the
lifestyle,
divide between us.
I dig the carnation, the Goldfinger thing. Like, to me, stylistically, like Goldfinger and Thunderball kind of like set the bar incredibly high with like, people to this day are buying suits and stuff because of that. I have the Connery's strap.
Yeah. Well, okay, so maybe not on my list of the top ones, but just speaking of, actually, there is a comic thing I do really like, and it is in Thunderball. It's when he finds the random henchman who gets lit of head of a shark, like in his bathroom, and Felix shows up and says, "Hey, how you doing, 00 punch?" And he takes out the guy. Well, yeah, you're gonna say 007, which also whatever. But right before it cuts away, you see Bond making Felix, I believe, a Negroni.
Nice.
And it's just, Bond making someone a drink. Bond, I think it's like maybe one few times we see Bond make a drink outside of Dr. No, where he makes a martini. And it's just Bond doing it for a friend. And just like, just beat up a guy, let's have a drink.
Well, he does cook once in a movie too. He makes a quiche in A View to a Kill.
Stacey Sutton's oddly empty
Only
home.
A 60-year-old James Bond would make his 20-year-old Bond girl a quiche for dinner.
Well, when he was at that French chateau in California that Hugo Drax had, he learned a thing or two.
You're right.
Yeah, because he's the same guy.
But I also feel that there's one lifestyle thing in all the movies, and I think even the Broccoli's would agree is like the one, and it's the Aston Martin. It's the car. He's like, you're in LA. I'm sure you see them every once in a while. There's a few that are around my area.
Yeah, I've seen one or two.
And I'm just like, that's the car. That is, all cars are compared to a Bond car. And that's the one, that's the Bond car. And I'm not even a car guy, but I'm like, oh, if I could have an Aston Martin, that'd be pretty sweet.
When the Peterson Museum here in LA, the Automotive Museum, they did a Bond in Motion exhibit. So I got to see a lot of these cars, like the actual cars we stored and are just up there. And they had the one, and it was just, even I was like, okay, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was like the urge, like, man, I can't touch it. I'll get kicked out and banned for life and probably sued. But I just want to like get in it and drive away.
They could probably charge money just to sit in it.
You could charge thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
People would pay. We know some of the people who would pay too.
Oh yeah, and I'd just like buy a ticket for me too. Any other like weird lifestyle moments for you?
You know, I've been trying to think of like I think all the stuff we mentioned, like for me, the big sort of like experience things, like we could just be Bond in that whole like just environment moment. But
Mhm.
I actually kind of enjoy this talked about as we were talking, when Brosnan was just in Monaco in Goldeneye,
Mm.
not even just the card, not even like the kind of tragedy of the champagne in the car, but when he's just like at the casino, he's walking through like a theatrical performance. He's just like kind of in the environment, sort of enjoying it, and feels very
Yeah,
oddly lived in,
I
which
love that, and I think that's a
did
Martin
not get
Campbell
that
thing.
didn't carry over in a lot of other Brosnan's films.
No,
I
I
mean,
think
we
that's
joke
a
about the
Martin
Ice
Campbell
Palace,
thing.
and you
Uh,
know,
like yeah, that's Martin Campbell. I think
mhm.
he really makes his environments like have a lot of depth. I noticed that in Mask of Zorro. I noticed that in Casino Royale. Like, there's a lot going on in the shots. To the point where there's so much going on, like especially at the I don't think this was a choice to have them in later movies, but the people that were at the table in Casino Royale
Mhm.
show up in future movies because Campbell cast it right and just used the right people that like if we show them again, they're gonna remember. Like a general audience will remember, like, oh, that's the guy, the Asian dude with the ponytail. He was at the table. He's Inspector. Oh God, you know.
Oh, he was, I think, right?
Yep.
Oh my
And the
goodness.
lady with the glasses. I think she was an Inspector or was in No Time to Die or
Well, there is that wonderful theory that like everybody who was at that table who was not the chief was a spy,
wouldn't be surprised.
which is also kind of great. Which like I don't believe that Bond is a code theory thing. He is the same guy until he's Craig. But like I could buy if everyone was at the table was a spy, and it's like, oh, maybe one was a Spectre agent. Why not?
I like the really
Why
big
not?
black dude, like that guy.
I mean, yeah, you know what? Like we talked about the dinner scene afterwards, but there is, Bond orders the vest, but everyone kind of joins in. It's a little silly, but it's also kind of great. Like, how many times have you and I been to a bar and we see some orders, so he's like, oh, what is that? I
Oh
want
yeah.
that.
Oh sure. I mean, you're bartender. Like, I have this thing where if you're in a place and someone makes a Mexican coffee, R.I.P. that bartender because everyone is once you smell it and you see the sparks, everybody's gonna order Mexican coffee. Or yeah, and the Vesper especially is like after that movie came out, you started seeing that in restaurants.
Oh my goodness,
So many
every place.
places have the Vesper Martini on their
I've
menu.
seen it in Amsterdam. I've seen it in Vegas at a Vesper bar. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
it here at like, you know, Deaf and Company even has a Vesper twist. It's nuts. Like
Like
it's
that's
just it
a
became
lifestyle moment that transcended, and it's now in the general like public lexicon of
yeah.
stuff.
I mean, yeah, it's not my favorite, but definitely you can't deny the impact.
Right. Yeah, but like we're talking lifestyle moments, like that one went all the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I guess the only other one I can think of, it just pops me as it's a nice little touch, is it is a Dalton moment. I have one Dalton sort of thing I like.
Yay.
It's in Living Daylights. It's when they have Koskov like sort of in this safe house before Necro shows up as a milkman and kills everybody, which is a really noble sentence to say, in any context. But Bond shows up. He's driven to the countryside in his wonderful Aston Martin. He's changed like a country appropriate suit. He's supposed to get supplies. He comes up with a basket with just all his food. He starts listing off, knowing it all. And he's like, "Oh, and your recommendation of this wine, I actually prefer this one, so I got this instead." And it's like a little bit of like Bond being slightly bit of a know-it-all, but also just knowing what to eat and drink is such a great
That
touch.
that is a moment that last time I was in the UK, I went and looked. So that's a basket at Harrods. You
Yes.
even mention it. Like you have to go to Harrods and pick up this basket for Costco. It's like a gift thing. Yeah, yeah, that's like a common thing. That's a gift thing. Like for Christmas, I get you this basket of goodies. And yeah, it has Bollinger RD in it. It has caviar. It has
And it has Bond's preferences. M is a little like, I don't know, buddy.
Mhm.
It's like, what's the Connery line? It's had to be an evidence of Bon Bois. I sound like
Oh
more like
yeah.
Roger Moore there, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like
Mhm.
those things get a little silly, but that moment is just such a great little touch.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
in terms of lifestyle moments that change the actors, I mean, I never played golf, so I saw Goldfinger, but also neither did Sean Connery.
Sean Connery didn't really wear suits until he did Dr. No, and Terrence Young took him out.
Yeah.
Which again, there needs to be a movie about like the 2 weeks that like Terrence Young classed up Sean Connery. Like My Fair Lady, that just like I want to see that movie.
It's too bad Connery's passed away because I would love to see. But there's that Lazenby movie called Becoming Bond, which I think is outstanding. Like that is just a good.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, you have to see it.
It's on Hulu. It's free if you have a Hulu. Watch that movie. It is so pleasant and funny, and the guy that plays Lazenby,
and when he's younger, reacting some stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Lazenby, but it doesn't matter. Like he's just such a charming actor. But yeah, it's about him getting the role. And I would love to see a movie just like that, but kind like the Lazenby one. Lazenby's telling his story. And have Connery just be like, you don't have to talk about the Bond series. You don't have to talk about how much you hate Cubby Broccoli. Just tell us about you and Terrence Young preparing for that thing. I'm sure like there's 2 hours of a movie worth there.
That'd be so good. Just you almost could end with like the ending of Casino Royale, but it's like Bond showing up. You know, you end with like him at a poker table or a baccarat table in Dr. No, where we finally reveal his face. It's like it's been building up to that moment of filming that scene.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Eon, call us. We got ideas. But no, we want to talk about this because it's just fun to sort of see like what about Bond beyond just the action we like, and it's a good life that he lives. It is. He doesn't like it.
It's a good life. It's not an I don't want this video to come up as like it's an aspiration, like I want to kill dudes and sleep with a bunch of women and like do that. That's not what I'm attracted to.
No.
That's not what I'm attracted to with Bond at all. Like it's escapism, and the filmmakers always they don't pull any punches with the glitz and glamour and how they show their heroes and their villains, and
when they get it right, it's just something that we think about for years or change our lives for years.
Right. And like, we talk about in one of our other videos, we talked about how Bond should never go back to the period setting. Like there shouldn't be a James Bond set in the 60s, because Bond, since Dr. No, has been a trendsetter and a trailblazer in fashion and lifestyle, food and drink, all that kind of stuff. We shouldn't lose that. Like good or bad, or if it ages poorly, so be it. But I want to still be able to go back to, the fashion choices in Octopussy and be like, that's 1983 and 1983 values of like what is a fancy meal and blah blah blah. But like, I want the series to continue to be on the cutting edge of all kinds of sartorial and fashion and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, again, like, we're not talking about the most expensive thing ever. I mean, we talk about the dinner at Casino Royale, but then, I mean, sure, No Time to Die, Bond's retirement life is pretty expensive. He's just fishing for himself. Like, I'm sure at Fish, probably fresh caught tasted amazing.
Yeah.
It's just, what is the good life? What is, for us, aspirational?
Well, you don't need to get a Baroni suit. There might be something about the cut of the color or something that, like, inspires you to form your own style. And there are so many resources online of, like, Bond on a budget and things like that.
Iconic alternatives. Fantastic sites, we love them.
Yeah, it's not unattainable, and it's just like the world's greatest Pinterest idea board, the 007 film.
Pretty much. I mean, how many people? I think I've worn this on one of the videos. Like, how many people do we know own a black shawl cardigan because of Quantum of Solace?
Oh,
like where do you figure that movie? Everybody stole that look. I wear that like weekly. It's fantastic.
Yep. Awesome, and I have a cable. It's because of Goldeneye. I love his cable knit sweater.
Oh, so good. And not many people can pull off the ascot, and yet he does. It just works.
Yeah, I did that for Halloween one year. No one got what I was, but I knew I was Pierce Brosnan in Goldeneye.
Yeah. I have a Harrington. I mean, I'm not running through Bolivia or the Atacama Desert to kill a Frenchman, but
if you had to, you would dress for it.
Yes, I would. Fake environmentalist CEOs, beware.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's our lifestyle top moments. But we kind of want to hear from you guys, because I didn't really have any Connery. we kind of avoided Dalton and Moore a little bit. So like, what do you guys think? What's your top lifestyle moments?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind revisiting this and like, getting and answering some questions and comments of other people's ideas and discussing them.
Yeah.
So
Make us do a part 2.
absolutely. So tell us what you think in the old comment box below. You're not allowed to put a dislike in anymore.
Nope.
But
Comments,
all like,
please.
yes, please comment. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Adam.
I'm Nicholas.
We'll see you guys next
See you
time.
next time.